Okay, so we have here raw umber, alizarin crimson, white. I'm going to just mix alizarin crimson, a touch of raw umber in it, not much, because what happens is if you put too much raw umber in it, of course, it's going to turn into a dark brown or a brown colored. And what we want a pink, but we want a pink that's toned down. And that's why raw umber is there. So because I'm putting white in here, because I have white, white tends to make colors opaque. So I don't want it to be too opaque, too strong. I'm putting water in here. Now alizarin crimson is a transparent color. It's a transparent pigment. Okay. Right. Let's do that. Now we can use a round brush or we can use a flat brush for now. And because we're working on black, when we do that, when we do we put the first layer, it's going to turn dark, which is great. Yeah. This is what we want. We want it to turn dark so we can have some shadows area, darker area for shadow. Okay, and here. Okay, and then here. Spread it, and I'm actually using the color I have on my tissue paper. And we're just going to go in and cover. And maybe we'll work, like we'll make it a bit more pinker, like pinkier, like lighter when we start highlighting. But this is the first.
Coat.
Yeah, coat. Layer.
Layer.
All right, let's do that. No, we're not worried about detail right now. So we can bring the pink all the way down to here. And actually, I think it should be a bit darker when it's down at the bottom. Because we have here some going to be gathered kind of fabric down here. Okay, we'll do this. Let's do that again. This will give us a good idea how we should be what colors should how light we should go with the highlights. I'm gonna go back to the original reference and I'm gonna check and see where the folds are, where the highlights are, and take it from there for highlights. Okay, so over here I have two big, I did two big bracelets right there. They're going to be colorful. I'm going to change my brush into a round brush now, and for detail. That's great. That looks really good. Okay. That's beautiful color. Okay, good. So for this part, we're using alizarin crimson and black and a touch of white. So what I'm going to do is take the same color right now with a round brush, small round brush, really tiny, kind of small. And I'm going to try to make it look like lace right here. I'm going to get closer. And we'll do maybe the same at the bottom. So it's not like a strong line in here. Let's try. If we don't like it, we can remove it.
What kind of strokes are you doing?
Random dotting, like dots, making sure that I keep some of her skin tone showing. Random, really random dots, kind of connecting them. I'm doing this, but I'm taking my brush, kind of dragging my brush while I'm doing this. I can go back. That's what I would do probably after is mix the skin tone again and open up here, right there with skin tone to bring the lace, open it up a bit more. It's too small here. So I'll open it up a bit with more skin tone later on. So I'll do it again on a small piece of paper for you to see. My color is not too thick, so it's easy to it's kind of random. I don't have a specific kind of, but I'm trying to have the edges kind of looking like they're repeating the same. Just a suggestion, like that, like this. So these white dots that you see in there, the paper dots, that's the skin tone. That's okay. It was a good,
Yeah, it was helpful.
yeah. So I'm mixing alizarin crimson and white, and I'm going to add a touch of water in here. Let's see. All right, let's see. So let's start with this part of the shirt. Now, I really would like to simplify those folds. I don't want to go into too much detail. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going with the movement of the shirt, round kind of movement. It's not straight, it's roundish. Now I know in the picture, there is a, in the reference, there's a light coming, hitting this part right there, down here. And I know that this right now, what I'm putting right now, the darks are extremely dark. So painting because I have the dark. Okay, so if they see this highlight right here and the first layer, it's a very strong contrast. So what I'm going to do is just kind of soften this contrast a bit because I'll show you what we're going to do after. Okay, so let's do that. Now I'm going to add more white into that pink. Wipe my brush, and I'm going to come here and add a bit more highlights in there. So now you see the transition between the light and dark is softer. I still can see the darks in there, but they're not heavy. They're not strong. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding the highlight, the strong highlight, the lightest highlight, where only where the sun is hitting this shirt. And you'll see in a minute, I go back and I soften whatever needs to be softened. And now this is a shirt, so it shouldn't be, this is too much right now. These right there, too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my darks, a bit of that umber, alizarin crimson, white, push the white in. Now I have dark, medium, light. Push the light, push more white in there. So the dark is not too dark, too strong, because it's going to dry darker. And I'm going to come here. I think it needs to be a bit more white. Yeah, lighter. And in a minute, you'll see in a minute, it's going to go even, we're going to go even lighter. White. Much easier to paint something like this when the color is wet. Both colors are wet because you're not going to get a harsh edge. It blends nicely. Okay, that's much better now. Way better. So what I'm doing is because this color, both colors are wet, they're blending nicely and softly. So I have a soft, beautiful. I'm going to add more white to my pink. And I'm going to come here. Oh, wipe my brush. Highlight. Again. I'm not following exactly what I'm seeing in there. Sometimes folds are funny. They look funny. They look okay in a photo, but when you start, if you want to kind of get the same fold that you're seeing, it might look funny. So, I'm just gonna slowly kind of, I know I went over the mirror here, the handle of the mirror, but that's okay. So again, wipe my brush, dry brush right now, and soften. There. I always like to go to medium tone first and then jump into highlight. I have more of her that color showing here. I can put some hair over it later on if I want. I'm keeping this highlight mostly up here. I don't want to. I will pull it down, but not as much. So medium tone again down here. So we just have to show that it is the fabric is gathered over in this area here down right there. Now more white, and now I can go back and then just add that soft highlight over here. Maybe a little bit down here just to show that fabric gathering again into a knot right there. It's good. Now, highlight this a bit more. And to show the fold, I'm going to take a bit of raw umber, alizarin crimson, and white to create a shadow, kind of darker right here. Same with this part. Medium tone, so I'm going to mix again, alizarin crimson, white, touch of raw umber. It's about kind of okay right now. It's fine. This part of the in that reference is this part is darker. Now, I don't know how dark I'm gonna go. We'll see when we'll start putting the color in, the highlight. I don't want it to look too dark. Fix the shoulder a bit. So I add my highlights slowly. Now I'm coming to a point here where I have folds. All right. Now we're pulling more white in, water. Go back and start again. When I get to the bottom, I try to keep it slightly darker. Now, in this part of the sleeve, I really don't want too many folds in there and movement. So I'm just going to keep it very simple. Let's get rid of this black in there. And get some white going again. So slowly, slowly, I'm adding this highlight, really layers. Light or white is, you know, I have to be careful how we're using white. It has to be introduced slowly. Otherwise, it makes everything flat. All right. I get to the bottom, try to keep it a bit darker at the bottom. Right here, highlights. A bit more highlights. It dries darker. If it doesn't dry darker and you find that it's too much, glaze it. Okay, again. Get some of these folds going. All right, a slight adjustment here. I'm gonna go back to the darks, medium tone, and I'm gonna come here, add a bit of brown. All right, that's better. So I darkened this area a bit because what was happening is that I was highlighting, did the highlights, and then all of a sudden this highlight went all the way to this side, from here to here. So it became flat. I got a flat surface then, instead of having a nice kind of transition. I'll just let it dry a bit before I adjust it. I'll try to adjust it right now. This is burnt umber with alizarin crimson and a bit of white, because this area here down here is looking a bit too flat. I'm just darkening this and adjusting the sleeve because I have it looks like the sleeve is a bit too puffy, and so I'm narrowing, making it smaller and adjusting the shape. Same from this part. I think it should go in that way. It's too heavy at the bottom here. See, that's what happens when you start adding color. You can see. You start seeing what needs to be adjusted and what needs to be fixed. And a bit more highlights. Okay. I'm just highlighting a bit more this right here where the shirt is gathered. Okay. Great. Right. So I'm just going to take a bit of raw umber with white. And with a small brush, tiny brush, round. It's like a glaze right now. I take that glaze and run it here. Where that shirt is meeting the skin, there's a kind of a shadow in there. It's a bit too dark right now. I'd rather use the color of the skin. We'll try. If it doesn't work, we'll bring the burnt umber out. Not burnt umber, I mean burnt sienna. Okay. Dry brush. Dry brush. So I'm wiping my brush on that paper. This is too wide, too big, so I'm gonna go back. White and pink. So white and same mixture I'm using for the shirt. There. Is everybody gone? No. Okay. I thought I was talking to myself.
No, we're here.
You're working? Okay, good. Most of the time we have no idea what he's barking at. We can't see anything outside.
Mhm.
He's going crazy here inside the house from one window to another, and we have no clue. Look, he's getting worked up right now.
When he loses his eyesight, when he's older, he's not gonna give these noises.
They do that? Yeah.
Our dog was 18 years old when it passed away, and he was like that earlier in his life. But later on, they get cataracts,
Mm.
and then they stop barking at the window.
They start barking at the window. That's cute.
They
Oh,
stop barking at the
Oh, they
window.
stop.
They
Okay.
can't see anything anymore.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I think we're okay. I'll let it dry and see how it goes. If it needs to be adjusted, I think it's fine.